Have you ever asked yourself, why do I know exactly what I need to do, yet I can't seem to stick with it for more than a few days? We set grand goals to transform our lives, but we end up in a familiar cycle, fueled with determination at night, only to quietly give up by the next morning. Bad habits, procrastination, overeating, phone addiction, staying up late, lack of exercise, have been woven into our lives for years. They don't just drain our health and time, they erode our belief that we can become a better version of ourselves. The truth is, it's not a lack of knowledge. It's not a lack of goals. It's a lack of persistence. Every failure makes us blame ourselves. I'm weak. I lack discipline. Until we start believing change is impossible. But that's not the real problem. The issue isn't you. It's how you start. When goals are too big, the brain immediately resists. When actions are too demanding, we burn out fast. And when self-belief is chipped away long enough, motivation disappears entirely. But there's another way, gentler, more practical, and far more effective. Start with tiny actions, habits so small that the brain can't find a reason to reject them. Tiny steps that create momentum, helping you beat yourself each day, rebuild lost confidence, and trigger a chain of profound transformation. If you find this useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to catch more videos that can genuinely help you. 1. A behavioral perspective. Why change feels impossible. Changing yourself isn't hard because you lack knowledge. It's hard because the brain prioritizes comfort. It's wired to avoid risk, dodge pressure, and cling to the familiar. So every time you try something new, even something small, the brain produces invisible resistance, fatigue, laziness, procrastination, loss of motivation. It's not your fault, it's a natural survival mechanism. On top of that, we often set goals that are way too big. Change your life in a few weeks plans overwhelm the brain. When pressure exceeds our processing capacity, defense mechanisms kick in, forcing us to retreat to safety. That's why so many people start full of determination only to give up quietly. Repeated behaviors over years carve strong neural pathways. The brain will always take the familiar route, even if it harms you. To form a new behavior, you need time, patience, and the right steps. But the deeper reason, the one that makes us fall again and again, is a lack of belief. I can do this. Without trust in your own ability, no change can stick. Real transformation begins with understanding yourself, grasping how your brain works, and rebuilding confidence through small victories. This is the foundation for sustainable change.
2. Identifying your triggers. Understanding to break bad habits. Every bad habit has a trigger, a silent cue that drives your behavior. Triggers appear so fast you barely notice them. A minute of stress leads to unconscious snacking, a few seconds of boredom makes you scroll endlessly, or just seeing your bed makes you sleepy, even with tasks still undone. Triggers are like automatic switches that flip whenever you face discomfort. Without recognizing triggers, it's easy to think you're undisciplined. But once you identify them, you see that the problem lies in the system, not your worth. And that's when real change becomes possible. True power begins with noticing your triggers. Once you know what sparks your bad habits, you can act. Avoid them if possible, replace them with positive behaviors, or adjust your environment to reduce or neutralize the trigger entirely. This isn't just a trick, it's a core technique for uprooting negative habits. Control the trigger, and you control 50% of your behavior. From there, change becomes lighter, easier, and most importantly, lasting. 3. The tiny action solution, microhabits. The power of lasting change doesn't come from leaps. It comes from microhabits, actions so small that your brain barely resists. This is the smartest way to defeat procrastination because you no longer have to fight pressure or mental strain. The key isn't speed or volume, it's momentum. A single tiny action, repeated correctly, sets off a chain reaction of positive responses in the brain. Microhabits can be incredibly simple. Drink 1 glass of water in the morning, walk for 30 seconds, tidy a small corner, or take 1 minute to refresh your mind with deep breaths. These seemingly trivial acts are the first puzzle pieces that unlock true discipline. The secret lies in the golden formula: small, repeatable, sense of victory, natural dopamine boost, build discipline without pressure. With continuous small wins, the brain forms a new identity. I am someone who starts, maintains, and progresses.
4. Why micro-habits work. The psychology behind them. The power of micro-habits isn't just in their simplicity. It's in how they directly tap into the brain's natural psychological mechanisms. When an action is small enough, the brain no longer perceives it as a threat or a burden. This drastically reduces resistance, allowing you to overcome the biggest barrier that makes most people fail: their own procrastination. Even more remarkable, micro-habits help the brain form a new identity. Every time you complete a tiny task, even if it takes only a few seconds, you send a powerful message to your subconscious. I am someone who keeps promises to myself. When repeated long enough, this message becomes part of your character. And when your character changes, all other behaviors begin to shift automatically. Once you've consistently maintained small actions, you naturally progress to bigger ones without force. That's why micro-habits are more sustainable than harsh discipline. They work with the brain, not against it. Change also rarely happens in isolation. One small habit can trigger a chain reaction. Drink water, feel more alert. Move your body, sleep earlier, eat healthier. From one tiny action, your entire life can shift in a positive direction. This is the quiet but lasting power of micro-habits. Small changes, yet massive and enduring impact. 5. Expanding the path, from small steps to strategy. Lasting change doesn't come from a giant leap. It comes from a step-by-step path, from small actions to strategic habits. Once you've maintained a micro-habit for 14 days, the brain recognizes it as safe, no longer resisting. At that moment, you can add the next habit, also small, gentle, and momentum-building. The upgrade path doesn't need to be complicated. Keep it simple and consistent. From maintaining a morning glass of water, you could add a small action like eating more slowly to improve digestion and presence. From a tiny daily movement, start with a 30 to 60-second walk outside your door. No pressure, no big goal, just to get your body used to motion. You can also optimize your environment. For example, placing your phone away from your bed before sleep helps your brain relax and reduces negative triggers. Everything follows the golden rule. Don't upgrade too fast, only add a new habit when the previous one has become automatic. Because an automatic habit is the solid foundation for building the next layer.
6. Finding your deep why, the foundation for lasting change. All sustainable change begins with a reason deep enough, an internal motivation stronger than any superficial goal. When you understand why you truly want to change, you no longer rely on short-term willpower. You tap into a source of energy from within, one that lifts you after every moment of procrastination, failure, or fatigue. To find this solid foundation, you must confront the most important questions of your life. Why do I want to change? Not a vague answer, but one that truly touches your emotions. Who benefits if I become the best version of myself? Your family, your future, or your self-respect? How will my life look in a year? Visualizing this clearly helps your brain focus all its energy in one direction. When your reason is strong enough, discipline becomes unnecessary. Your new behavior is no longer an obligation, it becomes a natural choice. This is what allows you to sustain change even when motivation fades. 7. Handling setbacks, the bounce-back principle. No one progresses in a straight line. You will stumble, overeat, skip workouts, or lose the rhythm you once maintained. The most important thing to remember is that mistakes aren't failures. They are brief interruptions, small pauses in the long symphony of growth. True strength lies in your ability to bounce back, no matter how far off track you fall. This is the essence of the one-day rule. Fall today, get back up tomorrow. This simple principle is the key to breaking free from self-blame and restarting without carrying extra weight. When you slip, you don't need to overcompensate. Instead, return to the smallest habit that helped you start in the first place. This return restores rhythm, a sense of control, and belief in yourself. Overcorrecting with extreme measures only adds pressure and increases the risk of giving up. But when you gently return to your starting point, you're sending yourself a powerful message. I am strong enough to continue. This is the art of overcoming setbacks. It's not about never failing, but about always returning, even with the smallest step. That is what builds true resilience on the path of transformation.
8. Perseverance, the true driver of transformation. It's not the fleeting bursts of motivation or a few days of fiery enthusiasm that create lasting change. It's the consistent repetition of small actions, regardless of your mood or circumstances. True transformation is built through steady, deliberate steps, like countless drops of water forming a powerful stream. Every time you overcome a small slip, your brain records a new signal. Gradually, these signals shape a belief stronger than any motivational slogan. I am someone who doesn't quit. This ceases to be just a phrase for inspiration. It becomes part of your core identity, shaping how you see yourself in every choice you make. When perseverance is cultivated, the duration of maintaining good habits naturally extends, and slips become less frequent. Instead of struggling to restart, you progress naturally and effortlessly, as if your body and mind understand that this is the right path. Transformation doesn't happen in a single moment. It occurs during the days you continue to move forward, even when no one is watching and there's no applause. It's this quiet, persistent consistency that builds enduring strength, the kind strong enough to change your entire life. 9. Tracking progress. Recognize every step, no matter how small. The brain responds powerfully to victories, even the tiniest ones. Seeing yourself follow through each day, even on small tasks, becomes a source of motivation that reinforces your belief in your own capability. Tracking progress isn't a mechanical exercise. It creates continuous positive feedback for the brain. Every day you maintain a habit, whether drinking a glass of water, taking a few steps, or meditating for a minute, is recorded. Your brain recognizes this progress, releasing natural dopamine that makes you want to keep going. There are many simple yet effective ways to track. A habit tracker calendar, habit tracking apps, or just a nightly journal noting what you accomplished. When progress is visible, you no longer rely solely on fatigued willpower. Your growth becomes clear, tangible, and satisfying. The seemingly obvious but incredibly powerful rule is, what gets measured, gets improved. When you track progress, your brain continuously notices victories, reinforcing positive behaviors. Change no longer feels like a struggle. It becomes a natural flow, guiding you toward the best version of yourself.
10. Building keystone habits, the 80% game changers. Not all habits carry the same weight. Some seemingly simple actions can trigger a domino effect, bringing a cascade of positive changes in mood, health, and performance. These keystone habits form the foundation of an empowered, balanced life. Going to bed on time allows your body and brain to recover, boosting energy and focus. Drinking enough water supports metabolism and keeps your mind alert. Light morning exercise activates energy, improves mood, and prepares you for the day's challenges. 5 minutes of daily tidying creates external order while reinforcing internal discipline, making it easier to sustain other habits. Once these foundational habits become automatic, they generate a chain reaction of positive effects, making larger changes easier and more sustainable. There's no need to overwhelm yourself with massive goals. Lay the right foundation, and every major decision is supported by consistent, small actions. Keystone habits don't just change behavior, they reshape identity, creating the inner strength to become your best self. Start with tiny actions today, and you're planting the seeds for the best version of yourself. Step by step, these seeds will bloom into the life you've always desired.